Hello, good afternoon mga kababayan. Welcome to Radyo Migrante. Kayo'y nakikinig dito lamang sa Radyo Migrante. Welcome all and welcome Tita Julie. Ako ay si Ems, a co-host, which I haven't been here for a while. So it's good to be back. And you're listening to Radyo Migrante on Vibe 105.5 FM. Tita, do you want to greet our listeners po?
Hi, Em. Um, Good afternoon po sa mga karadmig natin. At nandito kami ulit. Na-miss niyo kami. Na-miss din namin kayo. Um, so let's talk about our latest news.
Yes, I miss you too, Tita. And it's been super hot today, super hot this week. So I hope everyone is staying cool, either going to the mall for the AC, eating a lot of halo-halo, drinking a lot of water, and taking care of your loved ones. As Tita said, we'll be talking about episode 64 this week, where it'll be about Filipino Heritage Month. So we'll talk about a top news, specifically about the new caregiver pathway. So tita, mahaba-haba ang pag-uusapan natin dito kasi yung binabasa natin, we were a bit, we were kind of quite shocked at how fast the turnaround time was, but we'll talk more about that. We'll then talk about more about our Pulso segment, where we'll hear from our kababayans from different parts of Toronto, and we'll have also a Pinoy Tayo interview with Ning Upton, who is a spokesperson for the Pocha coalition here in Toronto. So stay tuned for all of that. And
Ano
yeah,
ibig sabihin ng pocha?
ito po.
Eh.
Pinoy Overseas Coalition Against Charter Change, o POCHA.
Oh.
So thank you, Tita, for reminding us to explain what POCHA is. POCHA means Pinoy Overseas Coalition Against Charter Change, which was created recently this summer, or this year. So with that being said, I guess we can probably get started in talking about our news. So with that, at ayun, I guess Tita, we can get started. Magkwentuhan tayo with only one top news today, which I think is still important for our kababayans here in Canada. Have you heard of the bagong pilot programs that was announced by the Canadian government on June 3rd?
Yeah, ayun nga yung sinasabi na na new immigration rules for caregivers.
That's really good because sinasabi daw when binasa ko din yung official government website, sinabi daw yung bagong pathway na to means na, quote, caregivers can more easily find proper work with reliable employers and have a clear, straightforward access to permanent resident status as soon as they arrive to Canada. Pero there's also mga eligibility na kailangan i-meet ng mga ibang caregivers to qualify for this pilot program. So unang-una, kailangan sila may minimum level of Canadian language benchmark of level 4. Kailangan meron silang hold na equivalent of a Canadian high school diploma. And also, sinabi nila that you need recent and relevant work experience at kailangan ka mismo may offer for a full-time home care job. So, nakikita natin kahit sabihin na it's a clear and straightforward access, meron pa rin mga puntos na it's still very selected ba. So, yeah, what are your thoughts about that, Tita?
Parang medyo magulo kasi yung mga binanggit na eligibility requirements, yan naman talaga yung requirements before.
Interesting.
Kailangan meron kang ang bago lang dyan for me yung sa Canadian language benchmarks. I don't remember doing that nung time ko na nag-apply ako ng permanent residency. Pero para makapag-apply ka, kailangan may high school diploma, tapos yung work experience, it's been there So,
Mhm.
ano yung bago?
Yeah.
At saka, yun nga, ang sabi, hinlows na, sinara na yung yung dalawang pathways.
Mhm.
Ano nga ba yun, yung dalawang pathways na yun?
It was yung dalawang pilot pathways that
Yeah.
they opened on June 3rd lang, tama po kayo tita, is the childcare provider pilot and the home support worker pilot was open on June 3rd, pero it ended on June 17th, 2024. So only 2 weeks lang siya nag-open. So ibig sabihin yun, they only
Yeah,
had,
ang last day na
yeah,
para mag-apply ay June 17.
yes. And so to think about that, that's only 2 weeks. And it says in the stats in the press release, now there's approximately, an inventory of over 60,000 persons in the live-in caregiver program. So imagine how many people were only able to apply in the actual pilot itself if it was only
Oo.
open for 2 weeks. So it's just very interesting na it's clear cut, pero paano na yung mga iba hindi nakaka-apply? Um, which is very interesting. And I think we were talking about earlier, 'di ba? Yun mga naging analysis um ng isang CBC journal news of how beforehand, like, migrant workers are welcoming this new pathway. Pero why did it take this long, right? Yun, 'di ba yung kwento nga na it took her 8 years to get her kids. And do you find that was like a very similar experience for you, tita?
Yeah, dun nga sa news na
Kay Evelyn.
Evelyn De Vera
Mhm.
at saka sa tatlong anak niya na 2 years old yung bunso niya nung umalis siya. Tapos nakuha niya sila 10 years old na
Mhm.
yung bunso niya. So, ganun katagal ganun katagal yung tinitiis ng mga caregivers na nakahiwalay sa mga anak nila bago makarating dito. And kaya may mga problema silang kinakaharap kahit na magkakasama na sila dahil syempre hindi nila kilala yung isa't isa dahil matagal sila nagkalayo. So, kaya pinupush natin yun ng matagal yung landed status, 'di ba, right away na
Mhm.
pagdating mo dito kasi nga alam natin na mahirap magtrabaho na malayo tayo sa mga anak natin, sa pamilya natin. At makakatulong yan para makapagtrabaho tayo ng maayos kung kasama natin sila pagdating natin dito. At kaka-push. So ngayon, ba't ngayon lang? Like, yeah, what took it so long?
Mhm.
So and I don't know, na-approve ba to dahil sa nakita nila yung esensya na kailangan talagang magkasama na kailangan buo yung pamilya, or na-approve ba to para matigil na yung mga
Mhm.
nagpupush at
Mhm.
mga nagrarally para ma-approve ito. Kasi parang medyo magulo, 'di ba, na-approve siya and then at the same time isinara yung dalawang pathways. So, ano na?
Yeah. That's very true, Tita. And I think one thing as well, as I think Emerin also highlighted the Migrant Rights Network. How about individuals or migrant workers or care workers that are undocumented? Where does that leave them? Right? So, pero meron pa rin nakakalusot sa mga application status, as you said. So, how do we also support those migrant workers that we know that perhaps can apply because of their current precarious situation? And as you said, Tita, it's like, how should we question or kind of like remain critical or think through why was this decision made by the Canadian government. And a statement that was released by Migrante Canada actually welcomes this announcement. Pero ni-reiterate nila na are these pathways, are these access to permanent residence as soon as they arrive? It's not the same as for all caregivers to enter with a permanent residence status. At sinabi din nila, it's important to remain critical kasi Canada hasn't also signed an acceded or Canada has not signed two important international conventions, ng International Convention to Protect the Rights of All Migrant Workers and Members of Their Family, and the Convention 189 of Domestic Workers Convention. So we can also see that in an international realm, Migrante Canada states that there's no commitment in actually having full responsibility in legislating to ensure that Canada recognizes and protects all vulnerable workers that are entering Canada. So I think it's also like as you said, many migrant workers welcome this decision, but perhaps there can still be more done to continue to protect our migrant workers, both documented and undocumented. So yeah, that's that, and I think that's all I have to share.
Yeah, I hope they will be true to their words, like na makakatulong nga ito sa mga migrant workers at hindi pangako lang, or diba?
I agree, Tita. And I think that concludes our news segment for this week. So thank you so much. And patuloy po kayo nakikinig sa Radyo Migrante dito sa Toronto's Best Filipino Community Program, Vibe 105. Maraming salamat, Tita Julie, for our quick kwentuhan about our news. And let's now lumubog tayo to our Pulso segment. So I think we have multiple recordings from a picnic, I think from SEIU, Healthcare Filipino Heritage Month celebration on June 22. So, pakinggan po natin.
I'm Arlene, and 20 years.
20 years sa Canada. Wow.
Ako naman is like 17 years.
17 years.
Bing. I'm Bing.
Oh, tagal na po. Pareho. Tita Bing at saka Tita
Arlene.
Arlene. Ang tanong ko po, dahil Filipino Heritage Month din, kahit nandito na po kayo sa Canada, paano nyo po inaalala yung Pilipinas?
Oh, yeah. Inaalala namin ang Pilipinas, obviously, sa pagpapadala. Yun lang yun.
Papadala po sa pamilya?
Yeah. And everybody else. Like, we also do, what do you call that? Yung pagtulong sa mga batang nangangailangan. Mag-donate kami, mga ganun.
Paano inaalala? Pag may mga fiesta dito sa Toronto, as much as possible, pumupunta kami kasi alam mo yon, kahit paano doon na pupunan yung mga nawawalang piece of yourself, di ba? Pag nakakakita ka ng a lot of Filipino people, kasi ang sarap ng pakiramdam. Siyempre sa trabaho, multicultural, at least pag pumunta ka sa mga fiesta, Toronto, mamimit
It's like
Taste of Manila sa downtown.
Yung huling tanong naman po is tungkol lang sa trabaho nyo. Ano pong trabaho nyo tsaka gano'ng katagal na po kayo doon?
Healthcare workers kami. We work at the long term in a hospital. We also do home care and community care. Yun.
5 years.
5 years na.
Yeah, 5 years in Bakewest, but in other previous job namin, probably 10 years.
Like in this kind of area ng trabaho, medical field, nasa mga 11 years na rin.
Matagal na po kayo sa healthcare,
Yeah,
kumbaga.
matagal na.
Ano po ba ang...
Like lahat naman ng ng mga Pilipino dito, mga 80% are healthcare workers. We're proud to say that. Yeah. Wherever you go, hospitals, lahat ng hospitals in Toronto, not even in Toronto, entire Canada, in the US, Filipino. Right?
Ano pong kalagayan ng healthcare dito sa Toronto or sa Canada o sa trabaho niyo po na gusto nyong matutunan ng mga nakikinig?
Oh, a lot actually. Kailangan kasi pagka health workers ka, yung dedication mo sa trabaho. Because it's really, really hard to be a health worker. To be honest, it's really hard. So, kailangan yung puso mo nandoon, ilalagay mo. Put everything into your job para lang, alam mo yun, makapagbigay ka ng total care sa mga residente, sa mga pasyente. Kasi without that, hindi mo mabibigyan 100% ng pagkikare yung mga taong inaalagaan mo, diba? So, as much as possible,
Make sure that you're
yung
happy.
love mo, yung
Happy ka sa
happy.
ginagawa mo, otherwise hindi mo ka
Contented.
makapag-perform ng maayos para magbigay ng magandang care sa mga pasyente. Diba? Otherwise, if you're not happy, wala talaga.
Ano po yung masasabi niyong top challenge sa trabaho niyo?
Oh, a
no
lot.
COVID time, my God.
COVID times?
Yes. Ang hirap nung COVID time, like, nakakatakot. You fear for your life, you fear for the patient's life. Ganun. Sa family, lahat.
Ako yung tough siguro yung hindi ka na, I'm so sorry, but sometimes hindi kami naiintindihan nung nakaramihan na as a health workers, hindi napupunan yung needs namin as a health workers. Okay, nabibigay namin more than 100% ng aming pagmamahal sa mga residente namin and everything. Pero yung sa aming balik naman as health workers, no, not really like I'm so sorry, but that's the reality of health workers.
Ano pong example nun nung pangangailangan?
Yung wage namin, una sa lahat, yung mga sweldo namin, it's not really like a worth for, like, iba-iba kasi ang level ng healthcare providers. We are on the, like, nursing aid. Kami yung talagang toka na mahirap talaga yung aming ginagawa. So, it's not yung nababali na malikod mo lahat-lahat, pero yung sweldo mo kakarampot. Parang ganun.
Yung nai-ignore kami. Nai-ignore yung needs namin, nai-ignore yung salita namin. Alam mo yon.
So, miyembro din po kayo ng SEIU. Union po siya, di ba po?
Yeah.
Anong kahalagahan ng union?
Oh yeah, a big actually. Yeah, it's really a big. Because without them, sino ang magsusupport pa sa amin? Kung walang didinig sa boses namin, ano pa kami? 'Di ba? Ano lang kami, is just an ordinary employee. Pero without the union, walang magpo-protect sa amin. Walang sasagot sa amin sa mga complaints namin. It's not only complaints, yung sabihin na natin hinaing.
Na ginagawa ng mga unrighteousness sa trabaho, kagaya ng yung mga institution na tinatrabaho namin. Kung wala kaming union, easy lang sa kanila. So, we're very thankful na part kami ng union. Otherwise, they're just gonna take advantage of us. Maraming our rights, they still do what they want. That's why we're thankful na nandito kami sa union. Yeah. Kasi alam nila na hindi sila basta-basta.
Alam nila yung law. Alam namin, pero siyempre, wala kaming voice. May union ka, may voice ka.
I-voice out mo yung rights mo, hindi ka natatakot. Diba? Kasi maraming mga trabaho dito na they're not unionized, then, even if they are right, they just choose to tip up their mouth because they're gonna get fired. They can do that to them. Unless if you are unionized, nasa union ka, wala. Yun lang, may safe ka.
Maraming salamat po, tita. I think maraming matututunan yung mga makikinig tungkol sa kahalagahan ng union. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
At ayun, ang ating pulsong segment sa linggong nito. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng nagbahagi na sa kanilang opinyon at karanasan. And patuloy po kayo nakikinig dito sa Radyo Migrante, dito sa Toronto's Best Filipino Community Program, Vibe 105. Huwag po kayong aalis mga kababayan. Makakasama po natin si Ning Torres Upton, which is the spokesperson for POCHA, which stands for Philippine Overseas Coalition Against the Cha-Cha Charter Change. So stay tuned! Ayun, and welcome back mga kababayan. You are listening to Radyo Migrante Vibe 105. At ako po ulit ang iyong host, si Ems. And we are gonna, I guess, introduce our next segment called Pinoy Tayo, which is also known as Pinoy Tayo, Pinoy Talakayan at Usapan. Dito natin mapapakinggan ang talambuhay ng ating mga kababayan, specifically with Ning Torres Upton, spokesperson of the POCHA organization, or also known as Pinoy Overseas Coalition Against Charter Change. So halit na at pakinggan po natin ang fresh na perspectives ng ating mga kababayang Pilipino. Alright. At kasama po natin ngayon si Ning Torres Upton of Pinoy Overseas Coalition Against Charter Change, o POCHA for short. Welcome po sa Radyo Migrante, Miss Ning Torres Upton or Tita. Masaya po kaming na you get to join us today. And if you are able to, bati our listeners and pakilala niyo po ang sarili niyo po.
Maraming salamat, Ems. It's my pleasure to be here. Magandang hapon sa iyo at sa lahat ng nakikinig sa programang ito. Ako po si Ning Torres Upton. Ako po ay Pilipino na ipinanganak at lumaki sa Pilipinas. Canadian po yung napangasawa ko kaya we decided to settle here. I've been here in Canada for 21 years. I'm currently involved in a few Filipino groups. I'm one of the co-founders of Philippine Historical Society of Canada, Inc., which is based in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'm a member of Filipinos for Palestine, and just recently I joined POCHA, Pinoy Overseas Coalition Against Charter Change. Salamat.
Wonderful, Tita. I am really curious as to the other organizations that you're with, especially the history organization. But we'll leave that for off the script later. But we just really wanted to, invite and learn more about POCHA specifically. So I guess the first question off the bat po is, ano po ba ang POCHA?
So POCHA is short for Pinoy Overseas Coalition Against Charter Change. And we'd like to affix Canada to it. We are a community of leaders from diverse groups and organizations of Filipinos in Canada who have come together in our common desire to help achieve social transformation, progress, and genuine democracy in the Philippines. We have resolved to unite based on our shared desire to defend genuine democracy, uphold comprehensive human rights, and help assert true sovereignty and independence. We believe that the proposed Marcos Charter change contradicts all of them. Thus, we saw a need to have this coalition created. And I know this will be a longer one, but I feel that you need to know what we are all about. The Pinoy Overseas Coalition Against Charter Change urge our kababayan and all patriotic forces that are obligated to resist and reject the Marcos Jr.'s charter change. And why do we need to oppose this? Why do we have to have a coalition like this formed here in Canada? Well, I have a list of items. So the proposed Marcos Charter change is treacherous, impractical, divisive, and against the interests of the Filipino people. It fails to prioritize the welfare of the Filipinos and instead caters to the greed and selfish interest of government officials for extended terms of office, the perpetuation of their political dynasties, and enriching themselves at the expense of the people's interests with concealed motives, power struggles, and political conflicts. Second, amending the Philippine Constitution to remove economic restrictions and entice more foreign investments will only mean complete and tighter foreign control of the Philippine economy, particularly our public utilities, education system, advertising, and entertainment. This will not lead to an independent, self-reliant, and industrialized economy that can provide living wages, jobs, and social services to the Filipino people. This may lead to increased vulnerability of the country to security threats and undermine the country's national interest during a period of global instability. Mahaba na ba ang litanya ko? Why we oppose?
You're good. You're good.
Also, a huge significant portion of our nation's economy is already open to foreign investment through legislation, and it is already dealt with in the existing Philippine laws. So why do we need to have this? Napaka-redundant. The proposed 100% ownership to foreign entities, including US and China, is not just a slap on our national sovereignty and patrimony, but also a threat to national security by putting the generation, transmission, and distribution of power supply in the hands of the foreign control. We think that the nation should prioritize urgent issues in the concerns of the people, such as the pervasive poverty resulting from exorbitant prices of essential goods, sobra ng inflation sa Pilipinas, inadequate and poverty wages for Filipino workers, inadequate or no public services, deteriorating public transportation, and the entrenched corruption within the government that perpetuates poverty and social injustices. So we think the charter change is just a diversion that ensnares the Filipino people in an endless cycle of political maneuvering for the benefit of the rich and influential and corrupt political dynasties. It will pave the way for the return of more U.S. military bases and facilities. We are already seeing that right now. Increased military aid, more war games and exercises, and its dangerous implications for peace in the country. So the focus of any charter change should be directed at enhancing the quality of life for the majority of the Filipino people, not just the rich, landed, and powerful. And the current proposed CHA clearly caters to the interests of those in power who are under the sway of foreign interests. So that's my end of rant, and I hope that you have a clear vision of what POCHA is about and what we advocate for.
Thank you, Tita. I think you highlighted like some of the main points that I really highlighted. It's like POCHA urges kababayans to really oppose the charter change, because for the coalition, it's viewed as treacherous and anti-Filipino people. It's pro-government and it's pro-foreign control, and it's ever increasing if the CHA change were to be enacted or approved. You also mentioned a powerful line. You said the charter change should be for any type of charter change should be for the everyday people, not for the rich and the powerful. So I think I just wanted to maybe ask again and maybe reiterate the point. Bakit po ba importante bilang mga Pilipino dito sa Canada para talagang to really care about, because we always have like, well, nandito na tayo, why should we get back home? So I just wanted to maybe ask more of that point, like, yeah, why is it important for Filipino Canadians to care about the current CHA change? And yeah, I'm just curious if you can just maybe answer that again.
Yes, salamat. You got everything that I have mentioned before. So it is important for Filipino Canadians to care about the current charter change because as members of the Filipino diaspora, we are bound together by our shared desire and dream for a free, peaceful, and just Philippines. If you care truly for the Philippines, right, you have to have this in your mind. We stand on the shoulders of those who have fought and struggled throughout the history of the Filipino people against colonialism and neo-colonialism, foreign aggression, dictatorship, tyranny, and for freedom, sovereignty, and democracy, and who continue to do so. As leaders and members of the Filipino diaspora, we uphold the tradition of the people's collective resistance as overseas Filipinos with strong ties to the Philippines. It's not, well, I guess for people who care about the Philippines, leaving the country doesn't mean you're not Filipino anymore and you don't care about the Filipinos there. We still do. So for me, even I'm here, I'm naturalized Canadian, I still care about the Filipinos there and what happens to the Philippines. That's why we have to take part in this charter change, whatever changes the Philippines is going through.
Yeah. Thank you, Tita. I think that was, you shared very powerful kind of like remembering of our collective resistance in history and, you know, the ongoing resistance that the Filipino people have, and how you personally connect with that. Before we talk about your personal connection to this, because I know you kind of talked about that, I was just curious, kailan po ba binuo ang coalition? It's quite new, if I'm correct.
Yes, it's fairly new. Yung unang meeting namin ay naganap
Opo.
noong April 29,
Okay.
and nasundan ito noong May 8, and it marked the soft launch of the Pinoy Overseas Coalition Against Charter Change, and we're preparing for a formal launching later this June. So
Okay.
it's fairly new, fairly new.
Sounds good. Thank you for giving us a bit of a quick history and like the objectives of the coalition. And mababalik po ako sa na sinabi niyo po, you kind of reflected about your experiences even as a naturalized Canadian. You still hold care for the Philippines. So I just wanted to ask, ano po ang personal story niyo po, and why did you decide to join Pocha yourself?
Thank you. Okay, personalan. Personal story. In my university years back in the Philippines, I have joined mobilizations and causes that involve the fight for fair and just wages, academic freedom, and the likes. Mulat na din ako sa mga injustices na nangyayari sa bansa natin noon pa man. Yun nga lang, may mga personal at pansariling circumstances lang ako mga pinagdaanan that distracted me from continuing what I got involved in initially. Pero lately, I decided to join the coalition because I believe and stand for everything that Pocha advocates. So again, I mentioned I care for the Filipinos back in the Philippines and the Filipinos here who are here in Canada. I feel that being a member of Pocha, I can help educate the Filipinos abroad, especially here in Winnipeg, about the various dangers and disadvantages our kababayans will be facing if the charter change gets approved. So I think it's just genuine care for the Filipino, kababayan, either here or there.
Yeah.
That's my personal take. I mean, I can't really claim that I'm activista. Again, I'm a little bit of an activist, but I think I just don't. I cannot stand just staying still, not doing anything when I'm seeing all these injustices around me.
And thank you, Tita. And I think it's also like maybe to highlight na even you don't need to be an activist to care about social issues. So it's I think that's what the coalition is really bringing together. It's different walks of life or different people from Canada who are really trying to advocate for to really urge and kind of oppose the charter change. So thank you, Tita, for that personal story and why you wanted to join Pocha. So my third question, and I think it kind of connects to almost the hard launch of Pocha this June. As you may know, June is our Filipino Heritage Month here in Canada. So my question po sa inyo, ano pa ba ang kaugnayan ng Pocha sa pagdiriwang ng Filipino heritage dito sa Canada?
So in Filipino heritage was only recognized last year, right? In Canada. It was just last year. So anyway, the Filipino Heritage Month recognizes, celebrates, and raises awareness about the Filipino community in Canada and our valuable contributions throughout Canadian history. And I think here in Canada, this is observed in June since it's basically centered on June 12, when we celebrate the Philippine Independence Day. So, may kaugnayan ng Pocha sa pagdiriwang ng Filipino Heritage Month because Pocha opposes everything that stands in the way of the Philippines' true independence, freedom, and sovereignty, and support the welfare of Filipinos in the Philippines and here in Canada. Walang tunay na kasarinlan kung matutupad ang charter change ni Marcos.
That was very short and sweet. That was such a really good line, Tita. Mabubul lang ako pag sinabi. Pero ang ganda ng sinabi mo sa huli. I think it really highlights the objective of what Pocha is and its connection to Filipino Heritage Month in Canada. So my last question po is a common question but a very important one. May mensahe ba po kayo para sa ating mga listeners? At we can go from there.
Yes, thanks, Ems. On behalf of the Pinoy Overseas Coalition Against Charter Change, I urge our Filipino compatriots to reject the Marcos Charter Change and demand the Philippine government to prioritize the welfare of the majority and most disadvantaged members of Philippine society, and more importantly, to protect the future of Filipino children and future generations who will suffer the most from the consequences of the Marcos Charter change. Magsama-sama po tayong para tutulan, labanan at biguin ang Marcos Jr. Chacha na nagbebenta sa dayuhan ng ating kasarinlan, soberenya at kinabukasan ng ating bayan. Tuloy po ang laban sapagkat atin po ang Pilipinas at ang Pilipinas ay para sa mga Pilipino. So sa mga interesado pong sumali sa POCHA, you can join our group page on Facebook. Please look for Pinoy Overseas Against Charter Change. You can also email us at pocha.canada.info@gmail.com. Yan lang po.
Maraming salamat po. And just to reiterate, if you are interested in learning more about POCHA, you can find them on Facebook and email them to have more questions or want to join at pocha.canada.info@gmail.com. Tama po?
That's right. Yes, salamat. Yeah, that's right.
And you said there will be a hard launch on June. Is there going to be like an online event? Is there anyone that you wanted to invite our kababayans to maybe join in?
We still don't have a specific date, so I guess we'll just have to send out the details later. Sorry, wala pa akong information about it. Pag-meetingan pa namin.
No problem. We'll hopefully once it comes, we'll also share it in our community listings.
Thank you.
And that wraps up our interview. So maraming salamat ulit, Tita Ning, for taking the time to speak with us today. And again, if you want to learn more about Pinoy Overseas Coalition Against the Charter Change o POCHA, mahahanap nyo po sila sa Facebook at you can also email them at pocha.canada.info@gmail.com. At maraming salamat sa patuloy na pagsubaybay sa ating Pinoy Talakayan at Usapan o Pinoy Tayo. Nakikinig tayo dito lamang sa Radyo Migrante ng Vibe 105.5 FM.
Nalimutan mo na ba ang lahat ng nangyari? Nalimutan mo na ba ang kwento ng kalye? Nalimutan mo na ba ang lahat ng sinabi? Nalimutan mo na ba ang kwento ng kalye?
Iba't ibang tao, iba't ibang araw ang aking nakikita at siyang nakakaulayaw. Simula sa pagsikat hanggang sa pagbanaw ng liwanag at hanggang sa muli pa niyang pagdalaw. Sari-sari ang mga naglalakbay at tumaraan. Kahit na ika'y nakasakay o kapaparalong, paralong bulong ng hangin na tuloy-tuloy mabaho man o mabango, palagi mong maaamoy. Usad na di palangoy, tawa man o panaghoy, lahat tayo'y mababasaw, mapapaso sa apoy. Dahil ako ang siyang daan, kahit buo kong pangalan ay kinatatamarang. Sambiting, magdiin, marating, tawirin, tiisin. Kung ayaw mo sa'kin, sige piliin kung alin. Naaalala mo pa ba ang mga storya ng kalsada? Piliin pabalik ang pahina ng kabanata.
Kung ilan ang sumali, nalimutan mo na ba ang kwento ng kalye? Nalimutan mo na ba ang lahat ng nangyari? Nalimutan mo na ba ang kwento ng kalye?
Aling Celia ang pangalan, lumuwas papuntang Quiapo. Sumakay ng bus sa may kubaw ng may dumapo. Daw na paro-paro sa balikat, yun ang akala. Inipong pera'y nawala kasama ng pitaka. Siya si Melody, pauwi na galing pang Estrella. Inabot ng hating gabi, proyekto sa eskwela. Kailangan tumawid sa eskinita sa Manuela. Sa kasamaang palad, di na nakita ang dalaga madilim. Kasulok-sulukan sa may boni, di na nagugutom ang batang lansangan na si Rolly. Pero di siya nabusog sa tinapay o pansit. Manhid lamang dahil sumisinghot siya ng pandikit. Napiit kahit na di ito selda sa bilibid. Araw-araw napakaraming tao ang naiipit. Yan lamang ang ilan sa mga storya ng kalsada. Pilitin pabalik ang pahina ng kabanata.
Ang lahat na nangyari, nalimutan mo na ba ang kwento ng dali? Nalimutan mo na ba ang lahat?
Okay, I guess we're ready for community announcements.
Okay. Yeah. At syempre, to stay updated sa happenings sa ating community, narito ang mga event at announcement. Happy Filipino Heritage Month, mga karadnig. Meron po tayong online kwentuhan sa June 23, 2024, ng Sunday, 7 p.m. Ito yung kwentuhan series, Philippine History and Migration, presented by Philippine Historical Society of Canada, Incorporated.
Yeah, also as na-excited ako, sorry, Tita.
Hindi, okay lang.
Because Tita Ning was also a part of that as well.
Yeah. As Filipinos living in Canada, one of our shared experiences are our journeys here. So join PHSCI for a lecture from educator and researcher Rick Esguerra on Philippine history and migration. Yes, and questions and answers to follow. O, di ba, with hype pagkasabi sa pangalan Tito Rick.
Diba?
And on June 30, 2 to 5 p.m., Call Her Ganda, screening ng Anak Bayan Toronto and Kababayan Multicultural Center. It's going to happen sa Kababayan's branch building sa Parkdale, PWYEC. At sa June 30 rin, 4 p.m. naman, mayroong konsyerto at pagsamba, Awitin ng Bayan featuring Filipino Churches Choir in Toronto, Ashbury and West United Church. Ang address po ay 3180 Bathurst Street, North York, Ontario.
Ay, ang galing naman ng mga events, both from learning, from cultural, and from movie screening. So, very exciting Filipino Heritage Month, Tita Julie. Magkita-kita tayo nun. Yes. And I guess, kung may mga interesado, mga kababayan na karadmig na who want to join Radyo Migrante, come and join us here at the Radyo Migrante Collective. Message nyo lang po kami sa aming social media accounts at madali lang kaming hanapin either on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or you can also email us at radyomigrantefm@gmail.com. At dito po ang nagtatapos ang isa na namang makabuluhang episode ng Radyo Migrante. Ipapagpatuloy natin ito next week kung saan natin pag-uusapan more exciting news, different cultural segments, and pulso segments from our kababayans. Tita Julie, it was really nice to host with you again. It's been such a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice to see you again. Nice to talk to you again. At sa mga karadmig, maraming salamat po sa pakikinig. And see you, listen to us again sa susunod na linggo.
Yes. At sa tulong ng mga kababayan natin na nagbubuo ng Radyo Migrante, kay Carl Ramirez para sa kanyang kanta, Migranteng Pilipino, at higit lahat sa inyo pong mga nakikinig ng Radyo Migrante tuwing linggo mula 1:00 hanggang 2:00 ng hapon. Maraming salamat po. And
Yeah, hanggang sa susunod mga kababayan. Muli, mabuhay
po kayo at mabuhay ang Bayang Pilipinas! All right. Take care, everyone.